So I'm Sara, the Canine Family Planner. This is my fourth, I believe, weekly summary. Hopefully you're enjoying them. Hi Rachel, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you're enjoying them and you're finding them of benefit. If not, then let me know. Or if there's stuff you want to see more or less of, then let me know. Because if you don't tell me, I'm just talking to a camera in my kennel. So it's just good to get some feedback. Hi Carla, thanks for joining as well. Right, so we've got quite a lot to get through and hopefully you're going to learn some stuff, because that's the whole point of doing these things. But basically it's been a short week because we had the bank holiday weekend, but it's still been a fairly busy week for a short week. So I tried to, though I'm self-employed, I tried to stick to the not working bank holidays like normal people. Unless it's a mating, I will always fit matings in, because if they need to be done, they need to be done. And actually likewise with bloods, if they need to be taken and run, then I'll get on with that as well. So just generally the scanning I try to avoid from them. Hi Charlotte, what's my name? So yeah, so let's just go through some real life experiences. So the whole point of these videos is that everyone seems to think the breeding's easy and it isn't. So I just want to talk through what people's other breeders trials and tribulations are really, and how we can all learn from them and get a better understanding of dog breeding and how we can collectively become better dog breeders. So that's the whole point of this. Obviously it's an opportunity for you to ask me questions as well, because I know I'm not always the easiest to get hold of, though Charlotte, I always answer your phone calls. I'm not the easiest to get hold of because I'm on the road a lot, or I'm building stuff, so there's other stuff going on in the background as well. So this is your opportunity that you can ask me any questions specific to your dogs, or some of the scenarios that I'm covering. So it's basically time for you. Right, so let's crack on. So the theme of this, my teaser question, is in regards to progesterone testing, because I had a very interesting case that we're going to cover, which was a French Bulldog. But I'm just going to go through my successes first. So dogs that I have scanned in pup: a Cocker Spaniel that was a maiden, put to an unproven male, was scanned in pup with 6. Charlotte, that's because we're best friends. Exactly. Exactly that. See how good I get on with my clients that are now my busy mates. Just don't tell anyone else. I scanned Bolognese in pup with 4, so they're deemed a rare breed or not, or definitely small in breeding numbers. So in pup with 4, she was super pleased because I believe it was an Italian, so they're native to Italian, I believe, given the name, native to Italy, that she was super happy because that's a special litter that's on the way. I scanned a Cockapoo litter, Carla, who's actually on the sort of line on the live at the moment, with 4, and a Labrador that I scanned with 8. This Labrador, I did actually run her bloods and she was 10.84 nanograms. So you know I harp on a lot about people need to understand what the bloods mean. So I will always mention blood numbers, so you start getting your head round. If you are a person at progesterone blood test, you start getting your head around the numbers and what they mean. So 10.84 nanograms. So 6 is ovulation, 12 is mate immediately. So she was a mate in 48 hours, and I've scanned her in pup with at least 10. Actually, I've also just remembered a Labrador that I run bloods with, and I haven't got the results because I totally forgot about it. But a girl that I run bloods for, I think we may have done 2. She was a maiden bitch. She was travelling far for a stud dog, as would this Labrador as well. They both travelled really, really far. And I scanned her in pup. The breeder, it's not massively fussed about numbers, but I said you've got at least, I think I might have said 10, 8 to 10, I believe, anyway. And hopefully I've not frozen on back, that's good. 8 to 10, and she phoned me to say that she delivered 14, of which 13 surviving. So that's crazy for a girl, first litter. So she's super pleased, and she said the pups are actually real big sizes as well. There's no little ones there. I think there's 13 survivors. Hopefully they'll carry on as is, but she's super pleased. And off the back of that, then she was like, I need some ID collars because I believe they might be all yellow. So she's like, I've had to drop her off a load of puppy ID collars so she could tell them apart as well. But I also ran bloods for a Labrador. So I think we did the first bloods day 8 or 9. She was 2.2 nanograms, so really low. She was a retest in 4 days. Then she was 14.94. So she had ovulated and was ready for mating immediately. This was a girl who I had previously AI'd, but the owners hadn't tested her because they just had a lot going on in their life basically at the time. And they just said, let's just go for an AI. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it doesn't. And they opted for an AI because she was really anti. She don't want a dog anywhere near her, and she missed. So we did the bloods this time. We've done the AI. So we've got everything crossed that she's going to take. I also went to microchip. Anyone that follows the home breeders page, there was a little bulldog puppy that loaned my oxygen concentrator because he was struggling a bit. He's up, and I did an update. He's up and fine, and actually went to microchip him. He's now was it 12 weeks or 10? It might have been 10 weeks old, and bobbing along. So when I do hire out equipment, and I don't often remember to mention it, but with the oxygen concentrator, it actually just takes oxygen out the air, so improves the ratio of oxygen. Obviously you need to put them into sort of like a fairly sealed area for the oxygen concentration to increase, but it doesn't fix problems. So if the dog is ill, then it's generally still ill, but what it does is it alleviates the pressure of having to breathe and getting the, you know, the amount of oxygen into the body. So they still need treatments or antibiotics or whatever it might be. So oxygen concentrator doesn't fix the problem, but it just helps them while they are recovering. Okay, but as I say, he's a bonny baby now, running around doing what he should do. And that was an interesting mating because that couple found me originally. They had landed back off holiday. The dogs were in kennels. They'd said to them they were been like, she's in season and he's super interested. So they decided that they wanted to mate them. That's how they found me. We did an AI, but they didn't do any ovulation testing. And being on holiday, the dog's not in an area or environment they're used to. They didn't know what day of season she was. So I said, well, if she takes, it's going to be a miracle. And she didn't take. So I said, went through the usual, well, let's ovulation test. Generally bulldogs, I would recommend the progesterone ovulation testing. We couldn't actually get she was an interesting one because she's not feisty, but she's just a dominant female that knows herself, shall we say it. And she wouldn't let bloods be taken from her, and I couldn't even take a cytology swab. This was how much she was like, you are not getting near me, don't touch me. So I said to them, well, but I had previously AI'd her and she was fine. So I said, well, I don't know if it's just she's not ready, stuff's changed, who knows, you know, but it's not her usual temperament to be that way, so it might just be hormones. Basically what we decided is to do the typical mate day 11 and day 13. It's a maiden dog, maiden bitch, because they're mating their own, both health tested. So after I had the conversation with them the first time, they went and did their breed health testing, they went and did their DNA HUU testing, and they were compatible to be bred. Because he's maiden and because they're not planning to offer him at stud, they preferred the AI route because he wouldn't change his behaviour basically. He was easy enough to be collected from, he wasn't the problem. But even getting the AI tube near her, like this girl was on another level of, I thought my Dusty was a spoilt brat. She's another level of a spoilt brat. So the first AI was actually just in a syringe without the tube. The second AI, she was different, and they brought her to me because I was out and about, so I did a mobile. And actually, she was a different dog. When she was in an environment she wasn't used to, she was a much more obliging and did what her favourite family member was actually their eldest son, and he was here, and she just did whatever he told her to do, basically. So she was a different dog. But I did say, well, the chances of her ever taking is going to be next to nothing. However, I scanned her in pup with 3 puppies, which I could not believe, of which 2 were surviving. They were born by section and 2 were surviving. And then obviously they're really worried about losing one of those pups. But they're both pulled through, a boy and a girl. They are little mini me's of their dad as well. So it all kind of ends well. And those 2 puppies, one's actually going to the daughter and one's going to the son. So they're staying within the family. But when I asked her, would you breed again? She was like, categorically no. She hadn't realised the involvement it takes, and particularly some breeds are a lot more labour intensive, and then if you've got a sicky puppy on top of that, it just can be really draining. And it was hard to get her in pup, and then it never got any easier. So now they're up and about, they're all good. But as I say, fire up any questions, anything you're not sure of or want to ask about, then let me know. I've only had one miss this week, and that was a Malamute. That was a little bit disappointing because it was a last chance saloon with her. They hadn't planned to mate her. Then they sort of lost her mum, I think not that long before. So they decided to, I think they may have used an unproven male. I'm not sure. But they had good matings, and good ties, but she didn't catch, unfortunately. So they were a little bit disappointed, but unfortunately that's dog breeding. So on to the complex cases. So I had a lady book for a scan and then cancel a scan because she didn't think her dog was pregnant. Now, personally, if you've mated a dog, I would always take some measures to make sure you know whether she's pregnant or not. I personally wouldn't just guess or not whether she's pregnant or not. And I have some people book me because they know she's pregnant, but they just want to confirm it. But you can't, and obviously I know I sit on the scanning side of it, so I know I might be a little bit biased. But I don't yet have the ability to be able to look at a dog and know whether that dog's pregnant or not. And I've seen a lot of them. Because different bitches do different things. Some have morning sickness, some go off their food, some are lethargic. Even those 3 things could be illness, not pregnancy. Going off your food, being lethargic, what was the other one? I can't remember the other one I just said. But sickness, that could be pyometra. Abdomen can become bigger, that could be pyo. So I personally, for me, if your dog is displaying any symptoms or not, if you know they've had a mating, I would just scan them and you know 100% then they are or they aren't. 28 days from last mating takes all the guesswork out. It rules out illness such as pyo. It rules out a solo pup, so a female might not look pregnant, but if she's got one stashed away quite high up, she's physically not going to look any different. She might not display any different signs of being pregnant until very, very late stages. So for me personally, I would always just scan regardless. But that's, obviously I sit on that side of the fence. But I only do this because that's what I would do as a breeder anyway, because I'm a breeder. I had a Shitzu lady, and this was interesting. I think I'd scanned for 5, and I'd been to her before. She had delivered a litter of pups before, fine, no drama. This time she had delivered 2 and then just stopped. So she took her to the emergency vets and they said, are you sure there's just not 2 and that's it? She said, no, I definitely know. The scanning lady said there's more. They scanned, they said, oh, there's 1. Oh no, there's 2. No, there was another 3. So they did the C-section. She was happy because her bitch was safe and happy, healthy. The puppies were all fine, none were compromised. However, that I was shocked because I breed bulldogs and vet bills sort of roll off my back. And a bit like I've got Jill on here, Great Danes. Any giant breeds, their vet bills are another level because of the size of the dog and the amount of medication they need. Oh, my jaw drops sometimes when I hear some of the vet bills that they have to put up with, and that's purely down to size. So I was really shocked that this Shih Tzu lady had paid £1,600 for an out of hours emergency. what does a Shih Tzu weigh? Like 6-8 kilos. So to me, that was really shocking. So what that does emphasize, and something that I do mention in my book, Not Born Yesterday, which you can still buy through my website, is that you should have a plan A, B and C, and the puppy playbook talks you through that. But a plan A is your self-whelp, your plan B is a C-section in hours, which some vets like to call semi-electives, and some breeds will take that option, such as Bulldogs, and sometimes they want first stage labour for that's fine. And then your plan C is your emergency C-section out of hours. Now, regardless of whether your dog can just pop them out at home or not, I always, and I very strongly recommend you have a plan A, B and C. Hopefully you're never going to need plan C, and for most of you, you're never going to need plan B. But you need to know them and what they are, what the protocol is, how much it is going to cost you. Because to me, that amount of money for that size dog is ridiculous. And it could possibly have been avoided, or it could possibly have been a lot less. So as I say, my book covers about plan A, B and C, Not Born Yesterday, on my website, Canine Family Planner .com/book, and it walks you through what you need to do, what's involved in each of those steps. Hopefully you never need them, but it's better to plan for them and not need it. A third one, I should only be covering 4, but and I've already yabbeted on, but there's a third one and I've got a 4th one. The third one was a King Charles Spaniel. What's that? And if you need to spat on top, it's a lot more. What's she going? Oh, spay on top. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jill, your vet bills are crazy for, you say, the Great Danes, the Newfies, any of the giant breeds, just because what they weigh is just insane money. So if you plan, hopefully you can control that a bit more. And I know of one of the vets that you go to, because I go to them as well, and she say they're good for certain things, they're reasonable. But yeah, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel was an interesting one. So I'd previously, she'd bred from her before. I'd scanned her 3 puppies. She only delivered 2, of which only 1 survived. Now, that was interesting, but okay, they were happy. They got a puppy on the ground and, you know, it seemed fairly healthy and did what it did. They mated her again. She missed. They mated her again after my advice to progesterone blood testing, which I didn't do the testing. And they confirmed ovulation. They mated. That stud dog, I think they put another bitch to and is in pups, so they know the dog's good. But what they decided to do this time was to check her progesterone levels, was it 2 weeks after mating? And they had dropped down to 20 something. Now, when you breed, progesterone levels have to stay elevated to maintain a pregnancy. If they dip, and some people see them dip at the end of their gestation, they could abort puppies early. So breeders that have learned from this and gone through that horrific experience know, right, let's supplement the bitch at X days to just get her to her due date, and then we can stop giving her progesterone and she'll go into labour. Now, this bitch has done it her levels have dropped way earlier than that. So we don't know whether she conceived or not, but with a level of only 20, and it's different depending on the dog, but I would say it should be at least 60, 80. 20 is really, really low. Scanned her, no pups. So she obviously has, and it kind of fits in with why she may have had a problem with the first litter of me scanning 3, only being 2, 1 not being viable, and ending up with 1 viable pup. So this female generally looks like she's got a progesterone level issue. So what they're going to do is the same again, but obviously supplement her with progesterone. Now, that's all well and good, and it will possibly fix that problem with her. But what you need to remember as a breeder, and especially if I'm not really into, well, I'm not a super cutesy breeder, to be fair, because I've had dogs too long. But when you're establishing a line, you want a fit and healthy line, a fertile line. So if you're going to keep from a puppy that's been produced from a litter where you've had to supplement progesterone, then you could be breeding that into your line. Okay, so I always think for some litters that are really difficult. If you just want to get the litter on the ground and let other people have beautiful pups and all the rest of it, that's fine. But from your own mentality and your own breeding, just think about, should you go that extra effort and then keep a puppy? Because is that then causing you more problems going forward? What's that, Joe? Thanks, Joe. Right, and my final one, which is what the title of this live was all about, was a French Bulldog. Now they can, some breeds go up super quick when you progesterone blood test. They just go from 0 to hero. Like if you drew it on a piece of paper, it'd be like a hockey stick. Where I say like Labradors, they're like a set of stairs. They just go up day by day, pretty sensible. Some of them do plateau, so they have a long step and then they go up. But Bulldogs, French Bulldogs just hockey stick from day 6. Frenchies they can hockey stick from day 9 to day 13 or later. So they're generally pushed back. But I had a French Bulldog, another story of, she found me, she never knew anyone like me existed, which me and Joe get those kind of comments all the time. She had 2 French Bulldogs in season, and what we did, she didn't know what days they were on, but she felt that they were ready for mating. So I collected from the male, I split the semen and inseminated both girls at the same time. Went back to scan, one was in pup, one wasn't. So the one that wasn't in pup, I said, obviously you should do some form of progesterone testing, because she just could have been the wrong day that we put it in and it's just bad luck. So we progesterone blood tested this time. We did 1 blood. She was a non-bleeder, just went a bit puffy. We did 1 blood and she was 53.36 nanograms. So pretty much through the roof. When you think 6 is ovulation, 12 is mate immediately. So she was over 55. So I said, it's your decision whether you want to mate her or not. That's down to you. The problem, because she's got her own stud dog, the problem that you have mating that late is that you risk the chance of, if they do catch, oh, I'm back. Okay, you're back. Basically the eggs have matured and could over have matured and they're no longer fertile. She said, let's give it a go. She missed the time before. Let's put it in and see what happens. It's no drama, basically. She came back on Friday and I scanned her with 7 pups. Now, if you read any textbook, they will basically say, don't bother mating over 30. You've missed them. I previously put up in my home scan page about, I keep all my data. I've already told you before, I'm a spreadsheet geek. And I managed to see that dogs up to 45 had still caught in pup, but this girl at 55 with a litter of 7. So that's totally not normal. So when people say to me now, how high is too high? Who knows? I think I would give it a go. If the stud is quick to get to, it's your own stud, you can do it, then I would do it. If you're travelling, then I probably wouldn't bother. Just to summarise, you probably won't see this, but I'll put a link back into the original video. But just to summarise, how high is too high to mate? Probably never too high. If the stud is easy to get to, you're willing to take the risk, then still do it. So that's it, me signing off now, even though I've only just started this live. But basically, things to remember from this session is, don't forget to plan for birthing, plan A, B and C. Self-whelp at home, C-section, semi-elective and emergency C-section. If you want to know more details on that, then go to my book, Not Born Yesterday, which is at caninefamilyplanner.com/book. Also, I've started dishing out the puppy playbooks to people that I've scanned for that have ordered the book, even though the book's not yet ready. I've given the playbooks and had some really great feedback so far, so I will update people on that. And the videos that accompany the playbook will be in my membership, the Home Breeders Hub, who will initially have free access to be able to get to the videos. So I'll share more details on that soon, along with that going out on my daily no, not daily, don't do daily, on my weekly emails. But otherwise, feel free just to drop some questions if you have any on the original live or on this one, and I'll get back to you when I can. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.